to the August 13th, crazy to think it's August already, meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm President Josh Braby. Hopefully we're out of the weather today, so it looks like maybe we'll have some sunshine going into the weekend. But thanks to Nakona Dayton for greeting. Where's Nakona? Somewhere. Thanks, Nakona. Appreciate our greeters for sure, and we will start with Pledge of Allegiance, four-way test, and then we'll greet one another. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test.
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And greet one another.
Hey, Paul, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you, Paul. Thank you. Appreciate that. Great to see you, buddy.
Guests with us today, so for the guests, when we call your name, please stand up and we'll give each of you an applause at the end. Visiting Rotarian Akasha Warren, who is past president of the Southborough, Massachusetts Club. Our speaker, Reynolds Kramer, has two guests, past president of the Norwalk Club, Sheila Kramer, and then son Benny Kramer. And then Adriano Roma is back. Oh, you guys got to stand up. We got to stay standing. Stay standing. Then we can't recognize you if we're sitting. Obviously, he's been visiting with us a few times, a student at Grandview and Rotary Youth Exchange student who was in New York and has volunteered to kind of help re-kick off our Youth Exchange program this year as a mentor. So appreciate your commitment to that. And we've got Greg Borgen. Greg?
Yep. Brother of Arden.
Brother of Arden. Not sure which is the better half. We'll ask him after. And then Casey Kaysen, who's a visiting Rotarian from the AM Club. So thank you to all of our guests. Okay, where in the world? We have a few where in the worlds today. So for our visitors and our guests, Rotary Club of Des Moines is Club 27 of 45,000 clubs in over 200 countries. So we kind of do this when you travel. If you travel, shoot Kitty a few pictures and we get to share the experience with you. So first we have Dave Busick and his wife Laura Sands at the Oakland, California Zoo, with their 3-year-old. They say granddaughter, they say grandsitter, so I'm not too sure who's watching who, but it seems like that went well. Second, we have Mr. Past President Tim Lilowitz fishing, I'm going to say in like central northern Minnesota. I'm not even going to try to say it, but I know it's near Leech Lake where I was just at, so there is Tim. And then third, we have the bigger fish of the presidents, which is me, in Leech Lake with my family on our annual trip we go every year. If you remember, a couple weeks ago we were in Duluth for hockey, and there was a nice Rotary sign outside of the hockey rink, and we were in the bay at the park, and they had a number of these benches and tables that was from the Walker Rotary Club. So we find Rotary everywhere we go, and that's pretty cool. Just a reminder, if you're going somewhere, send Kitty a note, send her some pictures, and we'll share the experience. We have a few announcements today. Fellowship announcements from Carter Smith, so you've seen some recent emails from him about fantasy football. And then Marnie is going to talk to us about our upcoming event at the Art Center.
Awesome. Well, it's been a busy week of fellowship. I don't know if Sam is here, but Sam ran our pickleball group a couple days ago. So thanks to Sam. And then last night, a few of us had a chance to be at Christy's house, Little Bourbon Club. Wonderful experience. I tasted a few new bottles that were pretty impressive to me, so we just had a great time. So Christy, thanks for hosting us too. I'm here to talk about our fantasy football fellowship. We had our March Madness fellowship earlier this year. Seemed to go fairly well, so we wanted to do something this fall as well. Everyone is welcome to participate. I promise you we'll try to follow the 4-way test as we're playing the fantasy football this year. No promises. I will promise that we'll have no punishments for those that may lose in our fantasy football. So no punishments at all. It's $40 to participate. Half that money will go to the Rotary Foundation. Other half will go to the top 3 places. So we'll play for a little money. We'll have teams each week. So if you're interested in signing up for the full season, please let me know. We also have some sign-up sheets on your table as well. A lot of us that have signed up already, are beginners or novices, so don't be afraid if you're not too familiar with fantasy football. Just a way for us to interact with each other throughout the football season, have a good time, and play for the Rotary Foundation. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Morning, Rotarians. I am your hype girl here for the Thankful woohoo, new member and prospective member appreciation social. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to get you all really excited about it because it's very, very special. It's coming up on Thursday, September 24th. It's our Thankful new and prospective member appreciation social. Now there's not going to be a Rotary lunch that day. Instead, we're going to gather outdoors that evening from 4 to 6:30. Come when you want, leave when you want at the beautiful Des Moines Art Center. Hopefully, we're going to have a beautiful, gorgeous September evening, but we'll have the event rain or shine. We'll enjoy great food, wine, live music, and fellowship, and you'll have an opportunity to browse the beautiful Art Center galleries. I especially want to extend a thank you to our new Rotarian, Kelly Baum. She could not be here today. She's the CEO of the Des Moines Art Center, and we really appreciated hearing about her vision for this treasured Des Moines institution. We were delighted to welcome her to Rotary and really, really grateful that she is welcoming us into her new home, beautiful new home at the Art Center, and creating a first-class experience at a very reasonable investment. Admission is only $20. But wait, there's more. If you bring a prospective member, you and your guest have free admission. And there's even more. If you join Rotary in 2025 and this year, you're a new member and you get in for free. So now, you guys, our goal is to have 60 members attend. Who is planning on attending? Could I see a raise? Yes. And for those of you who didn't raise your hand, you got to stay after school here. Because I'm going to talk to you. So I want you to think about somebody, speaking of assignments, and school is starting, I have an assignment for you. I want to ask you to think about who you've invited to Rotary for lunch in the past. Or maybe somebody who've been meeting to extend an invitation to join Rotary and invite them to the Thankful Party. Now, to make it easy for you, you're going to get a sample email. You can use it or you can customize it to reach out to those people. Very, very simple. No excuses. Now, once you've invited your prospective member to the beautiful Thankful Party, be sure to invite them to our lunch the following week on October 1st, because we're going to have a very special program. Our guest speaker will be Jamie Pollard, Iowa State University's Director of Athletics. So that high-profile program will really give prospective members another excellent opportunity to experience Rotary. Now, there is a flyer, beautiful flyer here. Thank you, Josh. That you can gather when you leave. It's on the registration table, just to remind you. So you guys, you are not going to want to miss this event. Mark your calendar. Think of somebody that you'd enjoy having as a fellow Rotarian. Let's fill the Art Center patio. Celebrate our new members, continue our membership momentum. And by the way, these socials do work. At our beautiful Jasper Winery patio party in May, we got 3 new members, and our goal is to get 5 new members after this patio party. So let's achieve that goal, let's work together and have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Marnie. And the October 1st is, I'm calling it like the Jamie Pollard Unfiltered, since he's retiring. It's kind of like open questions and he really might not care, so now's your time to get those out. So bring a guest, it'll be a great event for sure. And next we have Tafiq Shaw, who will introduce our speaker.
Awesome, thanks Josh. It's good to be back. It's been a while. Well, let's take the energy up a little bit, huh? We got some food here. Let's go. All right. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. So today I get to do something incredibly special. I get to introduce a good friend of mine, also one of the CEO of one of the largest retailers in America, that also took a bet on my Iowa family brand when I started with Lola. So I'm really excited to get to introduce somebody special here. He bet on our Iowa family brand before anyone else did, and I'll never forget it. But before I begin, full disclosure, Reynolds gave me one instruction today. One, he said, Tafiq, whatever you do not bring up Sheila. And so obviously, let's talk about Sheila. So Sheila Kramer, former president of Waukee Rotary, community leader, and clearly the reason Reynolds has done so well. Sheila, we miss you around here in Reynolds. I'm sorry, but you had to know, handing me a microphone was a risk. Now, to be fair, the guy standing up here after me has a decent resume too. He started at Fairway in 1985 at 16 years old, bagging groceries in Boone. Worked the meat counter through college, became store manager, district supervisor, and in 2014, CEO. 40 years, one company, sales floor to corner office. That kind of loyalty just doesn't exist anymore. And together, Reynolds and Sheila support just about every good cause in this state. Variety, Child Serve, Easter Seals, Ronald McDonald House, plus a small zoo of rescue animals at home in Norwalk. So please welcome Iowa Business Hall of Famer and CEO of Fairway, Reynolds Kramer.
Okay, my guess is that you can hear me. Everybody hear me all right? All right, because I can't just stand like that with the one mic, so. So great introductions, both of you. Appreciate Josh and Tafiq. I'm blessed to have a great family. And I think what I'm going to do today a little bit is I'm going to talk probably even more about just family, and then I'll get into Fairway a little bit too. But it's my opportunity just to kind of let you know what goes on in my life besides just my job. So. Obviously, we've already had the introduction. Benny, Sheila, and I, we live in Norwalk. Been there 4 years now. Was in Ames quite a few years before that. and have lived in like 12 towns in Iowa. So we decided that we would move to Norwalk because my middle one was graduating from Gilbert, and we had to go somewhere, and that got us to Des Moines because Benny got accepted at Des Moines Christian. And so we just happened to land in Norwalk. It's turned out to be a great landing spot between great friends, logistically, airport, downtown, things like that, and then also found an awesome church. So things have really, really worked out good. All right, that went quick. That's going nuts. Let's just go slow. All right, so my 27-year-old daughter Ashley, she is in a adult group home. It's an awesome experience. It's like child serve, and she was with child serve before, but she's up in Ames. Just moved her from one brand new construction home to another one with Friendship Arc, and she got the basement apartment where there's staff above. They can work with her. She has a G-tube and other medical things, but she's continuing to thrive and go. 27, pretty amazing for someone that was told at blank and Iowa City that she probably would never walk or talk and wouldn't live very long. So going back a long time ago. So she's doing really, really well. My middle daughter, Zoe, is 21. Just recently, well, a year or so ago, moved to Valley Junction area down here in Des Moines. Has a job down in the city here, and she's, she's finding herself. School wasn't what she wanted after a few weeks. I learned something about school. So if you pay for the courses ahead of time and then they don't end up going, then you lost on that investment. So so now I've said if you're going to go back to school, you're going to do it the old-fashioned way. You're going to get a school loan, all that stuff, and then I'll help you after you graduate. But it's a better understanding. Hey, new dad learning that stuff. So that's what you do. So let's go into Benny though, and let's go into what summer's been like for Benny. So Benny is 8, going into 3rd grade here in a week and a half, and Benny could come up here right now and he could tell you every state capital. He could tell you a lot of the countries in the world. He's in that mode where he's learning and remembering. Something I have trouble with, right? And so we decided let's go out and let's do some more political and educational things. So we ended up going to Terrace Hill. Sheila and I happened to be on a committee for that, and so we got to go back, and Molly gave us a full tour, got to show Benny and all throughout the whole place. And I think he really enjoyed it, get to see what that's like. Obviously, as a young kid, to go there as an example is a pretty neat deal. I sent the governor a text. She wasn't there that day upstairs, but I sent her a text. I said, hope it's okay, but Benny decided to play a song on your piano downstairs. And so he had fun doing that in one of the rooms that are normally roped off. So once again, he's taking piano lessons and doing a lot of fun there. Next, we got a chance to go to the Capitol. In fact, part of the reason Benny's here today is because he doesn't have school, and I thought it'd be cool for him to come with and see what else I do in life sometimes, because he grew up the first few years thinking that I went to make the donuts. If anyone remembers that old commercial, that's what I would always say. I'm going to Fairway to make the donuts. And so one day he's like, "He doesn't make donuts? What?" So, but so we went in the other room. He looked out and said, "There's the Capitol, Benny. That's where we were the other day." And Paul, Secretary Pate, took us around, and we got to see stuff that many people don't get to see. And so we thought it was cool. You got to sat in the speaker's chair, and that was one section. Maybe it's further on or something's goofy, but we also got to go up to the very, very top, and we got to go outside. And if you've ever been up there, that's quite the experience. So really cool. And then talking about politicalness, a month or so ago, I got a chance to go to the Oval Office. And when you go there, I'm sure some of you have been there, when you go there, you can't bring your phone in. So imagine after about 4 hours, you go back to get your phone out of the locker, you got, I think I had 172 text messages and all this stuff. People going, "Are you on Fox News right now with the president? What is happening?" It was a pretty neat deal. Just to give you an idea, once again, what do I do? I sell groceries, right? Actually, a lot of what I do now is fighting for our industry and what goes on, just like many of you do in your industries. In fact, yesterday I was sitting right here. Secretary Bessette was here talking to many of the bankers in this town, in this area, and a few of us just about what's going on in the world. And so one of the things that happened with the last administration in the final hour was an executive order that dealt with refrigeration changes. What does that mean? That means that we are going to be faced with about $1 million per store and making changes to how we refrigerate milk and produce and things like that. And we have to keep making sure that we do good for the environment and all that stuff. But this was pretty radical. So 3.5 years in D.C. pounding and going, and got the call Tuesday afternoon. President wants you in the White House with a few others Thursday morning. He's going to sign an executive order to pretty much kill that, give us a lot of time into 2030 where we can work on where are we headed next and what changes should there be done moderately. So it was a really neat experience, this group. And so just to give you an example about the experience itself, the president was very gracious, very kind. I really enjoyed the experience. I just happened to be basically right behind him. And so his hair is really nice, by the way. But he looked back at me one time and he said, "Reynolds, I got something here." And he opened the little drawer by him and he pulls out this beautiful gold coin, double-sided presidential coin, very heavy. And he said, "Would you like this?" I said, "Yes, Mr. President, thank you." And then he went to a senator from Florida. "Would you like it?" She said yes. And then he looked back at all the other people and he goes, and you shut the drawer. And they were all like, "What? What's that?" So it was pretty cool. But when you're in the Oval Office, it is very small. I mean, it's very small. And when the press came in as they were walking in, his demeanor changed, and from being very kind and very gracious to, "Oh, here they come. Yeah, here come the vultures. They're coming to get me." And then, it just went on. And what was really intriguing was I didn't realize that after our 15 minutes of talking about refrigeration and what was being done and all this stuff would then lead into 1 more hour of me just standing there listening to things about the war, listening to me, all these things that were going on and arguing back and forth with the press. But I snuck in this card. Okay, now when I say I snuck in, I mean I snuck in. Secret Service, everybody, they were like, "You can't bring anything in, you can't give the president anything, you can't do anything like that." So I had this card that Benny had made for me the night before I flew to DC. Pretty neat, he signed it in cursive, which is a cool thing too for an 8-year-old. And I put it behind my shirt and my pants because it was white, and that's where I walked in, just like this, And so when I pulled it out at the end as he was leaving, Congressman Nunn said, "Mr. President, Reynolds has something for you." And so I pulled it out and handed it to him and said, "My son made this for you." And of course I had the death stare from about 5 people in that room. And I really thought maybe I was going to be taken down, but got it to him, and he flipped it over, looked on the back, and he goes, "This is really neat." So he sat back down, he signed it, and then he gave me that back and the pen. And so I had that for Benny and was pretty proud. That's probably one of the neatest things of the whole experience was that. So, and then, like I said, when I left, I had a bunch of eyeballs on me, but once again, neat experience. What else do we do? So at our church, New Life Lutheran in Norwalk, we just got done with Vacation Bible School. Sheila and I volunteered, which means Sheila did all the work and I was kind of that supervisor running from one area to another. But this is Braden, Benny's really good friend, and once again, just we really enjoy our community and getting involved in things. We had another neat experience a month ago. Got to go down to Kansas City and got to watch a World Cup game. Got to see Messi and got to take Benny. Yeah, 2. We did go to 2. But second one we took Benny to, and that was the one where they went into the overtime, which I thought, oh my goodness. So by the time we got home that night, it was well past midnight, but neat experience for sure. So I kind of tend to think I'm at that stage of my life where you know, buying toys and things for Benny that's not the thing. It's about experiences and memories. Another great thing that we're involved in right now, I happen to be one of the chairs for our Sleepy Hollow campaign that's going on the east side of Des Moines. Yes, we're, you know, really blessed to be a part of some neat things that have gone on. If it's been Easter Lake projects, and you know, I can name a bunch, but this one's really cool. So the Snowflex Hill. This is the biggest ski hill in the world that you can ski, tube, or board on 12 months a year. And the completion of it is almost done. A year from now, it will be completed. We've raised millions of dollars, and the state and others are coming in really big. We got a few more dollars to go, but you get on this tube like this and you just fly down, and once again, it could be 12 months a year. So it's an opportunity that's going to be really neat for Des Moines and Iowa. And you can see Benny really loved it. And that's how you get the tube back up. You don't have to walk, thank goodness. You ride that little conveyor belt. I mentioned Benny's going to Des Moines Christian, so he's really into sports. He's my sporting kid. We're starting flag football in 2 weeks. Basketball he loves soccer. He's playing golf right now. Really, I mean, for an 8-year-old, I didn't think I'd hit my first golf ball until I was 17, and it still shows. But he's really enjoying it, and I think it's great. We belong to Echo, live on the ridge, so we can get down there really quick to play. Speaking of football, we've done some camps this summer. So we did two. This one was in Iowa City. TJ Hawkinson from Minnesota Vikings, who was a Hawkeye, if you remember. I got to help coach at camp, which was really cool. And I've done this a few times, so I learned that when you huddle up and the volunteer coaches ask to go to the, you know, yeah, I'll go to this drill or this drill. I always just wait, and then I'm the last one, and they go, oh, I guess you're going to go stand with the main guy and hand him the football every time to throw. So got to do that. He dropped back. He threw a 30-yard over-the-shoulder catch to Benny, who caught it for a touchdown. And I was jumping up and down, and TJ's looking at me. I said, TJ, that was my son. He goes, no way. He high-fived me, so that was kind of cool. And then here at Dowling, we had a camp a few weeks back with our young man with the Eagles, Cooper DeSheen. And once again, there's Benny there. And I got to work with him too. Now it was interesting, TJ being a little older than Cooper, I could tell the dynamics of realizing that these young kids aren't going to catch the football every time. Because TJ was pretty cool, and Cooper would throw a pass to, you know, 8-year-old, and he'd drop it, he'd be like, man, come on. And then after a while, I think he realized, you know, but really neat opportunity to do some of that stuff. So let's go back to a little bit of fairway stuff. This was me my first day starting in Boone, Iowa. I had moved to Boone, would have been about 5 years before this picture is taken, 4.5 years. And 16 years old, you can see, I mean, I look the same, right? There's no real difference. But I didn't really know where it was going to lead to at the time. I knew it was a family business. I'm 4th generation. My great-grandfather started the company 88 years ago. I think he and my great-grandmother would be probably looking down. I hope they're impressed that we're in as many states as we are now and how everything's going. Yeah, things just kind of progressed. And I remember when I was getting ready to be done with college, Luther College, my dad was asking, so are you going to stick in the business? What are you going to do? I said, I think so. And he said, well, just remember one thing. Once you get on this train, you'll never get off. He says the train slows down, the train speeds up, but you'll never get off the train. And as 42 years now, I realize what that meant. So, and it's funny, sometimes, luckily the train didn't derail along the way. But so, yes, going back to 1987, 2 years after that picture was taken, when I graduated from high school, we had 47 stores in the state of Iowa, about 3,000 employees. Today, 7 states, 143 stores, about 14,000 employees. I think we're the 5th largest private employer in Iowa, and that changes 1 or 2 notches here and there. But it's been a really amazing run, and we continue to expand. I've got some people in Wisconsin this very moment looking at some sites and some things, because that would be the 8th state that I hope to get to soon. You know, I'm going to talk about our headquarters, but you know, we still have a big presence in Boone. This is where our campus is, our distribution center. We have over 1.5 million square feet of warehouse space. We have over 600 employees on our campus. Everything that gets on the shelf besides DSD products, so things like milk, Pepsi, things like that, everything comes out of Boone, Iowa. Every Fairway store gets a truck every day. And what I can tell you is last night we had one of those blips, and Sheila was like, why are you on your phone so much, what's happening? And I'm like, well, a warehouse got hit by lightning yesterday in that storm. You don't think that's a big deal? Well, it took out some little box that just messed with our whole computer system. And so our towers, these tall areas, that's where automation is and robotics and things, and all of a sudden that was down. So the pallets that went out this morning at 5 a.m., if a truck ordered, let's say, 18 pallets of stuff, they probably only got about 10, and they're missing the other pallets because those are in those towers. And we can't, when the robots don't work, we can't manually grab it anymore. That's the hard part about automation. But we are expanding in Boone. It's a $30 million expansion to our refrigerated building. It probably has a couple more pieces on it as of today. I took this last week, but we continue to expand, continue to look to the future, and make sure that we're prepared for more growth and also, honestly, more efficiency. So this expansion is only refrigerated. 60% of it will be 0 degree, and 40% will be minus 20 degree. And that's for ice cream and things like that. So currently our ice cream is in another section that's older than I am, and we're going to move it all over here, and it'll all be under one roof. And there's one more look-see. This thing is it's driving me crazy. There we go. Hopefully it'll stay. All right. So going back to technology, so first off, we're in a beautiful building here. Obviously, we have a great relationship with Gruon. We have a great relationship with Bankers Trust. You know, one thing about trucking is what's happening in the future. You know, I can tell you the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that we spent on fuel in this last quarter versus a year ago. I can tell you that out of our 75 drivers that we have just living in Boone County, that are, I think 62 of them are farmers. I don't know what the future lies for drivers. And so we've been testing out Tesla model trucks. We're working on all kinds of things. I was in Europe for 5 days, and 5 countries in 4 days, excuse me, looking at automation and just robotics and all the technology there is. And you know, this might be something you see in the future. You know, we have to get products to the stores, to the customers, and if I can't count on humans wanting to do that, being able to do that, being available to do that, you know, this might be something. I just put this in because there's a lot of strange stuff that's possibly coming in the future. You know, with trucking, I will say that we have a lot of opportunities, and we do a lot of work with a lot of great companies, and every once in a while somebody will come to us that needs great products. And this is one of those days.
You put on a Sunday, wasn't
No. So then, yes, our headquarters are in Johnson. We've been there now a year and I think 8 months. It's been a great move. It's funny how it all worked out. I had worked with the city of Boone maybe, I'm going to say 8 years ago-ish, 9 years ago. I was talking to them about future expansion, where we're headed, and I mentioned to them that one day we would move our headquarters, not our campus, but our headquarters. And of course, you know, got some grumbles. Then I got a lot of, that will never happen, yada yada. Moved down to Norwalk 4 years ago, got involved in a breakfast club, great people, and I met George Milligan. And if you know George, he's an awesome person. And he said, I heard what you talked about. I think I have the building for you. This used to be where the Iowa Bankers Association was, and it sat dormant for a few years. I got a chance to look at it, and it was perfect. 2 stories, honestly not down here in the 235 mess sometimes, not far out in West Des Moines. We're 34 miles to Boone from this building, which is great because we do have people that go. But if you think about when I went into the office from being a store manager by Easter Lake in 2000, I went in the office that was in the warehouse. There was about 50 people in the office, 48 lived in Boone, Iowa. Today we house 143 people in this building. I believe 121 live in Des Moines or Ankeny, and they were driving to Boone. So it's been a real big win. And we've hired some more people, so I think our talent pool and whatnot is better, and it's just been a great thing. So I'm going to end with just a couple videos, just showing you lately some of the fun stuff that we've done. And once again, we're all about giving back to those that have given to us for 88 years, and that's all the great families and people and communities in all the states that we're in. So this was an opportunity a week or so ago that we put together for ALS. Hey everybody, I'm Reynolds Kramer, CEO of Fairway Stores here in Johnson at our headquarters. You can see I got quite the crew here. Fairway Frank's here. We've got our team from ALS, and this is a big deal today. We're doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Now I've done this before, and I can tell you it's freezing when it happens, but I'm going to do it again because it's a great cause. And I want to just reach out from my heart to Norwalk. We lost a great person, Robin, who was the director of Park and Rec. Sadly, she's just recently passed away from ALS. This affects a lot of people. So go to Fairway this week. We're doing a roundup, every one of our stores, and give, because without the dollars, we can't try and solve the problem. So once again, this is fun, but the reality is that ALS is not fun. It's not fun for the families and the people dealing with it. But we're here to try and help, try and give some love back in some way. I guess it's my way, and that's I'm going to get wet. So here we go. Team, you ready? Yeah. All right. Yes. All right, get the fairway, round up for ALS. And all our managers out there, I'm challenging you right now. Go and do this event this week. Push the mission. All you managers, I want to see you out there getting wet. That's my challenge to you. Now, so just in the basically 5.5 days worth of doing this, we raised over $50,000, and then with our match, it's been a really amazing thing. So a great cause. What was really cool about it was the fact that our managers out there, and if you know me, I could tell you every single manager's name and everything that I know about them. Now, the hard part is as the years have gone on, the assistants have gotten way harder. But it's pretty cool when we had, I think, 100 out of the 143 stores, 121 stores did a video where their management teams or part of their employees did something really neat. This one was really special. The guys up in Cherokee, when I saw this happening, when I saw the video, I thought, oh my God, they might get hurt. This is a skid loader, so we'll play this and just show you what they did.
I'm the manager in Cherokee. This is my sister Ryan Heller. We've been nominated by our CEO Reynolds Kramer to do an ice bucket challenge for ALS. We're doing a roundup in store this week. Please come donate for a great cause. We want to bring some notoriety to this disease, so we're going to do the ice bucket challenge. We figured you're going to do it. Go all out.
And this is when I was thinking, oh my goodness, how are they going to get hurt? Or
Oh my God.
Well, once again, it was pretty cool that that we could get that kind of response. It just made me feel really happy that the team members out there thought enough about it and to make the challenge also. So pretty neat deal. And that's just one of the things, obviously, that we get involved in. Many of you out here that I know, especially with different organizations, you know that that's where our heart is for sure. So we've got about 10 minutes or so. Questions? Yes.
Okay. So CEOs are desperate for human skills, and your frontline employees have human skills. So how do you do it? What's the secret sauce?
Yeah,
Tell us.
no, that's great, and I appreciate that. I get asked about AI all the time, and I say I don't like AI, I use HI, human intelligence. Obviously, AI is something that is talked about greatly now, and going to take over the world and all that stuff, but I don't know how AI puts the can of beans on the shelf. Now, it might come up with a better way to do it and help us organize that, but we still need humans. And you know how lucky we are, we can hire 14, 15, 16-year-olds, because that's when they're moldable, right? That's when they can't have their device with them for a couple hours while they're working from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7. And it's a great time that our people work with them, teach them about like, what's the number one question or number one comment that you hear from a young person carrying out groceries? Something about the weather, right? Or how's your day been, or what are you doing tonight? And we work with them about that kind of stuff. And it's great to see kids get out of their shell after a while. And what's really special is when I have someone that comes to me that says, I worked at my local Fairway when I was a kid in Eagle Grove, Iowa, and now my son or daughter is working at the Grimes Fairway. And I love it because we come back and we sit at the dinner table and we actually can talk a little bit now about stuff. So yeah, I just think our teams have grown up in helping to mentor young kids, and it seems to be working.
Is it something in how you hire though? I'm just not to push, but I mean, you were showing a skill that I don't think other maybe retail outlets have.
Yeah, well, whereas we do the online where you fill out your stuff, you still get a chance to come in and sit down with someone in management and do an interview. And it's funny because young kids, sometimes they'll come in with a parent, and sometimes the younger person might even say, Mom or Dad, I don't want you to be here, I want to handle this. And that's, as a parent, having them do that. I can tell you about Ashley, who's obviously has some health things, autistic, things like that. We worked as a job coach for over a year and a half. Finally went out to the first interview at a Bebop's. I could have brought her on at Fairway Easy, but I know what she can and can't do right now. And so we go to Bebop's, she sits down, and the assistant manager sits down with her, and I think she was going to try and do like maybe just cleaning some dishes or something, but she goes, "What's that smell?" And he kind of goes, "Well, that's our hamburgers, that's what we do here." And she said, "That smells like shit." And that interview ended, but so ours are easier, ours are better at Fairway. So yeah. Greg.
Tell us a little bit about your expansion, future, what states are you moving into, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we're looking at just great opportunities that are out there. There's a lot of oversaturation in some areas. There's places that, let's say it's a town of 10,000 people and there's 3 big stores. That's one too many, and you sure don't want a 4th. So I'd say strategically we're looking at that differently than we used to back in the day. And then we're looking at what states are, I'd say, pro-business and want to have our business. So I had lunch with Governor Kehoe down in Missouri a couple months ago, and we were talking about all kinds of communities in Missouri that need stores, and especially food deserts in the middle of different places. And you know what? They have a great economic person down there, and they're really open to helping, you know, and that means sometimes financially, right, to get us to be able to get in there. So, because we're doing all sizes, you know, we're in Ogden, Iowa, in this little 10,000 footprint. Normally our stores are around 23,000 square feet, but we're looking at all kinds of things.
Yeah, I love how you sponsor all the different, especially Christian organizations like Lead with Power, the FCA, and a couple of us were at the FCA convention, and it was held at the Hy-Vee Convention Hall. So we're like, oh my gosh, Fairway's the major sponsor, and it's at the Hy-Vee Hall. Is your new place gonna have a convention center, or?
No, no, because there's plenty of those around here, and there's lots opening up. It's funny, I didn't get invited to that one, but no, I'm joking. You know, I always say that when it comes to our competitors, we all have to work together on the great cause. So, Sleepy Hollow was a great example. The team came to me and said, okay, we want to go to Hy-Vee and ask them for something. I said, I hope you do. In fact, I hope they give more than we gave, because it's about the mission. And that's the way I've always thought. I think if you go back in time, you know, you go back 20 years ago, Fairway did a lot when it came to just local stores and local things. Like somebody would come in and having this little, maybe it's a Rotary event, we're having chili supper. Could you help us donate some ground beef? I probably brought to the table the idea of getting more on board from a corporate standpoint, because I just care about the stuff. And some of that has to do with just life, right? So I didn't know I was going to have a daughter with medical needs and surgeries and autistic and all that stuff. And what it did was it brought me to the world of variety and child serve and on, and which led me to the missions. And so I think I've just carried that forward. David.
I guess a few of the questions at this table here, but we were talking during the meal about the tradition of not opening the stores on Sunday. Why don't you tell us how that started and why you continue?
Yeah, I mean the simple answer is, you know, we're not greedy, and we want to have time for our employees to have time for, you know, family and faith and sports and whatever they want to do. And you know, honestly, it's just it's an extra day for our competitors to catch up. So so it's really simple. You know, I don't know what will happen when I retire from Fairway and I'm no longer the CEO. You know, obviously still a shareholder, but you know, new leadership might change their mind on something. I don't know. I hope not, because I know that we hear from customers all the time that they appreciate that. But our employees really appreciate it. Back in the back.
Reynolds, thank you for your presentation. Very impressive. It would appear to me that you would make an excellent Rotarian, and we would invite you to consider joining us. My question is, you touched on it regarding food deserts. We face a tremendous challenge here in central Iowa with hunger issues. Can you speak to how Fairway, from a community support point of view, is helping to address that issue?
Yeah. First, I'll say that because of Jeff Quarter, I probably can't become a Rotarian. If you know Jeff, some of you don't get that joke, but some of you do. So, yeah, I know. But so going back to FCA as an example, you know, this is a great community, right? It's 2026, and there are not just hundreds, but there are thousands of kids just in this community that don't want to go home after school because they don't have any food. That's crazy to me. And we have great organizations out there that are on a daily basis putting together food and backpacks and all these kinds of things, and it's still not enough. And so we've just tried to step in any way we can to help, and yet we need more help. We just do. You know, I think about if you're at the hospital and you're staying at Ronald McDonald House, and it's a beautiful place, They love it when people come in, and I know Sheila's done it and others we've done it, where you go in and you make lasagna meals for those families that are staying there to help. All those little things count. And I think, once again, what I've tried to do, and first off, I've learned over time, right? I've learned this isn't something you just get programmed and you know what to do. But I've tried to get on as many boards as I can, and then get off the board. And I've mentored someone from Fairway to take my place. So I think about, the different people, if it's Jake, our CFO, that's now on the Child Serve Board that I left, if it's Andrea with Ronald McDonald House, if it's Brian Greiner with Easter Sales, I've tried to get those people involved, because, right, we need that. But some of the things that I'm assuming you do from a civic standpoint and for communities, it's so vitally important. And I heard you say you need 3 more members or 2 more. It's actually, come with me, like when you guys did Garbage Day in Norwalk, come with me and help pick up garbage today. And when you're out there, you're talking and you're starting to understand what the mission is and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my response.
Thank you.
What do we got? Time for one more?
Take one last one.
All right.
Actually, we got 2 quick questions. First, what did Benny play on the piano at
What song was that, Benny?
You forgot. Okay. I'm sorry. Second, this little, the Fairway Meat Markets, as a concept, is a little smaller footprint. Is that a big part of your growth strategy going forward?
It's a big part of getting into a new area. So to go to Kansas City for the first time, not go with a store when there's Constantino's, Walmart's, Hy-Vee, all these stores, but to go in with that concept, that's about a 8 to 10,000 square foot business, model, and then get people to know who we are, because we are Fairway Meat and Grocery, right? And so, yes, we're winning. In fact, we're opening a new one here in 2 weeks down in Kansas City, another meat market. So that's going well. If you haven't been to Beaverdale, please go check it out. It's a neat experience. All right, one more quick.
Everybody knows going into a Fairway store that the people there are courteous. They take you personally as a friend, as a customer. The other thing is true that we supply refrigerated Borgner cases to Fairway, and they're just as nice to do business with. They're the nicest people to do business with. If there's a problem, we solve it together, and it's never adversarial. So
Well, we've enjoyed the relationship, and it all came from a letter to my desk saying, "Hey, we're in Des Moines, check us out." And remember, we had the meeting, and now our first meat case ever, before it got fully assembled, there were about 10 of us that signed our name on the inside.
Yes,
And
at our plant.
At your plant, and that was a neat deal. And once again, how cool is it to work with another Iowa company? We love local the best we can. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Reynolds. Appreciate you speaking with us today. Certainly a great leader. Your commitment to community, faith, and family shows, and I think that's why everyone is such nice stewards of community at Fairway. So appreciate you for speaking with us today. Fun facts, we learned a little bit how to sneak something into the White House. Appreciate that. And Kevin's here, Tim's here.
Yeah. What?
Iowa Hawkeyes have a reception on the board for the year. Thanks to Benny. There's your one and only for the year. Maybe over 2 yards, but so we learned a couple new things today. Okay, upcoming speakers. Next week we have Tim Ritma, developer, and we'll be talking about the Market District. The 27th we have Katie Pachette, Executive Director of Capital Crossroads, and then on September 3rd, Dr. Doug Jacobson, Director of ISU Cyber Security. So good programs coming up. We'll run through these here real quick. The upcoming fellowships, hopefully we're getting out of the heat. We've had quite a few high heat indexes here over the last couple fellowships. So August 27th, we're another golf fellowship at blank, 4:30. Still open if you want to attend. Let Austin or Kitty know. September 1st, we're going to bring back, kick off our first morning fuel. So we'll have a fuel coming up on the 1st. September 15th is our member guest golf outing at Waveland. We've got 24 golfers that will attend that. So if you're still interested, let me know. We'll get tee times assigned next week. So we got really through the end of this week. If you're still interested in signing up a 2-person team, let me know. And then as Marty talked about earlier, our September 24th is our new member event at the Des Moines Art Center. So please join us in that. There'll be a lot more information coming. We'll send out the flyer for you to forward on to those prospective members that you may be interested in bringing to the venue. So thank you for being with us today. Thank you, visitors and guests, for joining us. Make the most of your Rotary journey this week. We are officially adjourned.